When buying any kind of perfume, you will most likely see something on the bottle that says either Eau De Parfum or Eau De Toilette. And a lot of people don't know what these two terms mean exactly. And knowing these terms is actually very important to buying the right kind of perfume that you will personally like the most. But what is the difference between these two terms? So, if you can't tell, they're both French terms. The first one, Eau De Toilette, means in French toilet water, which doesn't exactly sound all that great. But the thing is that in French the word toilette kind of just means a room where you kind of get ready, prepare yourself to go outside, go out, just kind of prepare yourself. And Eau De Toilette, it mainly refers to the concentration of the perfume that you're buying. And also, Eau De Parfum also has to do with the concentration of the perfume. So, in general, Eau De Parfum is a type of perfume that is stronger than Eau De Toilette. This is because Eau De Parfum has more perfume oil compared to its counterpart. Generally, Eau De Parfum perfume can range between 15% and 20% of pure perfume oil, and the rest is mainly alcohol. And you might be thinking, well, that doesn't sound like very much perfume. Am I getting gypped by just getting 15 to 20% perfume oil in a bottle of perfume? The answer is no, because you might think, oh, the perfume will definitely smell better if it's 100% perfume oil. But that's not the case. If that were the case, you'd probably be blasted, incinerated by the smell of the perfume, because it would just be way too strong, way too pure. And also, it would be too one note. So the thing about having so much alcohol in perfume is that alcohol functions to separate and kind of spread out each individual notes that these perfume oils have to offer. So say, well, every perfume has the top notes, middle notes, and the base notes. Top notes are usually light, and you get them right away. Middle notes are kind of come in a bit later and are a bit richer, and then base notes are the richest notes and the longest lasting notes, and they tend to last for several hours. So say you have notes of musk and citrus and patchouli and rose or something. It's necessary to have alcohol in the perfume blend to make sure that your nose can actually detect all of these fragrances. Otherwise, if you had no alcohol, all of those notes would be really compacted together, so you wouldn't really have the chance to discern any of those notes. You might get one or two very powerful notes, say of, whatever the perfume has in it, maybe cedar oil or something like that, but it would be impossible without the alcohol to really distinguish the more minute notes. So, Eau De Parfum, like I said, is pretty much one of the strongest perfume concentrations you can really buy. There's also extrait, which just means extract, which tends to go from 20 to 25% of perfume oil in comparison to alcohol. And that's really, really strong and really concentrated, and that's extrait perfumes usually sell for a lot in comparison to regular Eau De Parfum or Eau De Toilette concentrations. And in a way, an extrait perfume is just kind of a way for a perfume brand to kind of sell the perfume in a different light. A lot of perfume brands don't even have extrait because the Eau De Parfum is already strong enough. The Eau De Toilette, on the other hand, is generally weaker because it doesn't have as much perfume oil in the entire blend. So it usually has 8 to 12% of perfume oil, while the rest is mostly alcohol. And for that reason, Eau De Toilette is just generally weaker, and it won't last as long as the Eau De Parfum. So And you might wonder, why would you buy the weaker version of a perfume? And the thing is that one is not necessarily better than the other. It really has to do with kind of which formulation came out first, what kind of, smell do you prefer. So, for example, a lot of older perfumes from, say, the 20s or 30s originally came out as Eau De Toilette, just because that was kind of what was popular. And it's generally cheaper to make and cheaper to buy because you're paying less for less perfume oil. And take Shalimar, for instance. I've reviewed Shalimar before, but the Eau De Parfum version. The original version, which came out in the 20s, was Eau De Toilette, and that original formulation was really popular for several decades until I think the 70s, when they came out with the Eau De Parfum, which is just the same thing but stronger. And in general, Eau De Parfum concentrations tend to especially kind of exaggerate certain notes. So for example, with Shalimar, the Eau De Toilette is more of a gentle woodiness and a gentle smokiness, while the Eau De Parfum concentration has a much smokier and more incensey kind of profile, and it also has stronger and richer notes of vanilla and wood and stuff like that. And that's mainly the case with most perfumes that have both of these concentrations. The Eau De Parfum is generally going to exaggerate certain features that the Eau De Toilette already had, and some people may or may not like that. So the main benefit of Eau De Parfum is that it lasts way longer than Eau De Toilette, just because it has more pure perfume oil. I personally like that. I don't really like perfumes that you put it on and then it kind of vanishes after an hour or whatever. Eau De Parfum generally lasts 8 hours, if not 8 to 10 or even longer, depending on what you're dealing with. While Eau De Toilette only lasts maybe half as long, maybe around 6 hours or less, depending on what you're wearing. So, and besides that, Eau De Toilette has a lighter profile. It's certainly good for kind of light and summery perfumes rather than heavier and spicier winter perfumes. So, and it's also up to preference. If you don't really like heavy or rich perfumes, you would probably prefer Eau De Toilette for most types of perfumes. And of course, vice versa, if you prefer strong perfumes, then you would ditch the Eau De Toilette and instead go for the Eau De Parfum. So, knowing those two concentrations can really help you out when buying perfumes. Say you're shopping for perfumes online, so you can't smell them for yourself right away, and you see a perfume that has both concentrations, the Eau De Toilette and the Eau De Parfum. So, and you don't know which one to buy. They're both quite similar, they have similar notes. But the Eau De Parfum will probably have more of a spicy or warm and more intense profile, while the Eau De Toilette will have a vaguely lighter and somewhat fresher profile. So you can kind of balance those two concentrations and decide which one you might prefer. And of course, it does depend on the perfume itself. Some perfumes are designed to be smoky or woodsy, while others are designed to be citrusy and light. So, and also depending on which formulation came out first. Often, like say, a perfume came out with the Eau De Toilette first, that is probably going to just smell overall better and more original than the second formulation, which might be the Eau De Parfum. So, weighing all those factors, knowing the difference between these two concentrations will really help you out, whether you're buying perfume in person or online or whatever. So, as long as you kind of know the difference there, you should be good to go whenever you're buying perfumes. So, if you like this video, you can leave a like or maybe subscribe, and I make videos throughout the week, so stay tuned for those.